Unlike the World Cup or the Euros, the African Cup of Nations occurs during the active league season. Now, this means that some players will have to leave their clubs and entrust their position to their teammates. So today, we will take a look at some of the best players from the English Premier League who will have to do just that. Bryan Mbeumo. Even though Brentford's number 19 was born in France, he decided to play for his father's country of origin, Cameroon. And honestly speaking, this was a pretty smart decision, especially if we take into consideration that this might be the most competitive French squad of all time. He will be joining the Cameroonian squad in January, leaving behind his club duties to represent his country in the upcoming AFCON 2024. In the absence of Ivan Toney due to his gambling-induced ban, Mbeumo showed his quality and helped out Brentford with an impressive 11-goal contribution this season. He recently suffered an ankle injury, and his absence in the final third is already being felt by the fans and the club in general. But he should be fit and ready to go before the AFCON, and when he hopefully is, he will be a name that will be found on Cameroon's team list. Nicholas Jackson. Now, we can all agree on one thing: Chelsea isn't having the best season so far. The same can be said about Nicholas Jackson, but he will almost definitely be included in Senegal's national team. His absence will prove quite tricky for Chelsea since the two players that play in Jackson's position have been struggling with long injuries this season. Even though the Senegalese striker isn't having the time of his life in London, he is still Chelsea's best goal scorer, with 6 goals in the English Premier League. Now, if we're talking about big players, we can't exclude him. With his strength and speed, Jackson is a formidable opponent to every defender. And if he manages to gain some confidence before the AFCON starts, he will be in contention for Senegal's first team. Now, moving on to a player that will definitely be included in his country's first team, Mohamed Salah. Now, if we're talking about players that come from Africa, we can never exclude Salah. He will be leaving for the AFCON 2024 as well, but it is safe to say that Liverpool are covered in the attacking positions. Yet, without the Egyptian magician, their results have always historically gotten a lot worse in his absence. Currently, Liverpool sits at the very top of the English Premier League, and the absence of Mohamed Salah will be felt. With an unbelievable start to the season, getting 18 goal contributions in 16 league games, he will play a crucial part in Egypt's AFCON ambitions. Potentially, he might even be the official best African player by January, as he is named as one of the top 3 candidates to win the CAF 2023 award. Andre Onana. The Manchester United goalkeeper joined the club in the summer transfer window for a hefty fee, 50 million euros to be exact, but unfortunately he is not proving that he was worth the money at the moment, since he only managed to keep 7 clean sheets in 23 games. Now, this stat is not all on him though, but for a seasoned 27-year-old goalkeeper who replaced a club legend between the sticks, he definitely should have done better. Even with all of this in mind, his absence will be felt during the AFCON 2024. Having started every possible game this season, it is safe to say that the other 2 keepers are rusty. Nonetheless, he will prove to be an important player in the Cameroon national team. Yves Bissouma. After suffering a terrible injury that led to him to missing half of the previous season, the Mali international is seemingly getting back to his past glory. After having an impressive start this season, the central midfielder is cementing his position as a regular in the Tottenham squad. The injury list at the club is extensive, and his absence will surely be felt. As for his national squad, he is sure to play every minute of every game, being their star player. Serge Aurier. One of the potential 7 players who will have to leave Nottingham Forest during the AFCON 2024 is Serge Aurier. The Ivory Coast defender is one of the shining lights of the season for this team. Being a regular for his national team since 2013, the 30-year-old has amassed an impressive 83 appearances for his country. He is expected to start at the right back position during AFCON 2024, and the absence of his high work rate and experience will definitely be felt in the ranks of Steve Cooper's Nottingham Forest. Now, before we move on to the next player who will miss some crucial games for his club, we want to remind you to hit that subscribe button and like this video to show your support. Now, let's move on. Idrissa Gueye. The experienced Senegal international is set to make his appearance at yet another AFCON. He will be leaving his club Everton and without his services from the 13th of January until the 11th of February 2024. Everton had a shaky start, and the 10-point deduction they received as punishment for breaking the FFP didn't help. Yet they are making a miraculous return from the relegation zone, and Gueye helped them out with that. The central midfielder will without a doubt be one of the first names on the team sheet for Senegal. Alex Iwobi. Iwobi is arguably playing at the highest level in his career. The Nigerian would have a tough time playing in the attacking roles for his country due to the stacked attacking options that the Nigerian national team has. But one thing is for sure, he will be included in the team sheet, especially after playing some amazing football this season, mostly in the central area of the field. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him playing as a central midfielder for his national team. And speaking of teams, Fulham will be left without him, and let's just say that it might hurt their historic run in the Premier League. No team has scored more goals since the international break than them. Ola Aina, yet another Nigerian player who is set to depart from England during the AFCON 2024. His absence will be bad news for Steve Cooper and Nottingham Forest, since this will be yet another fullback gone from the English team. The 27-year-old defender will have to step up his game in order to be included in the first squad of the Nigerian national team. Regardless if he sits most of the AFCON out or not, his absence will leave another gaping hole in Nottingham's defense. As we mentioned earlier in the video, this will be one of the most likely 7 players whose origins come from Africa. And with that in mind, Forest could face a pretty tricky run of fixtures, and they are already barely escaping the relegation zone in the 16th place, only having 14 points from 16 games in the English Premier League. Sofiane Amrabat. Amrabat didn't have the best start for Manchester United this season. He desperately tried to force a move from Fiorentina to the Red Devils, and in the end, he managed to get his big break. The 27-year-old Moroccan player is a jack of all trades when it comes to the midfield, being able to play as a central or central defensive midfielder. Heck, he even played some games as a left back in his career. His poor performances can be blamed all on him though, as he had some injury problems early in the season, and Manchester United are in general having a horror season all across the board. Now with this in mind, there is only one thing for sure. Amrabat will feature in every game in the upcoming AFCON 2024, as he was one of the most standout players during Morocco's historic run in the previous World Cup. Man U will definitely miss him, especially if we take into consideration that he is slowly but surely getting back to his former glorious form. Now those are all of some of the many potential players that will be playing in the AFCON between January 13th and January 27th. So let us know in the comments below which club from the English Premier League will struggle the most during that time frame.